This is his podcast, In the Rye. It's the In the Rye podcast. Curt Fletcher.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's episode 75 in the Rye podcast with Curt Fletcher. I'm Curt Fletcher. My guest today is comedian Joe Quesada, an old pal of mine I've known for years. Super excited to have him on. It was a really fun chat. Talked a lot about comedy and pro wrestling. Most of it was about pro wrestling. So if you're a fan of comedy or pro wrestling, this will be a good episode. Just want to run down my tour dates real quick. You can get tickets at funnyfletcher.com. Click on the schedule there. For most of these shows, they should be on there. Some of them are not yet. Anyway, here's the dates. February 14th and 15th, Boulder, Colorado. License number 1, which is in Hotel Boulderado. February 16, 17, Denver Comedy Lounge. February 23rd and 24th, I'm at Laughs in Tucson with Tim Gaither. March 1st, I'm in Santa Fe. Keep forgetting the name of the venue, but it's on my website. March 7th, Rio Rancho at the Brew Lab. March 13th, Acoma Sky City Casino. March 14th, Mescalero Into the Mountain Gods, which is also a casino. March 16th, I'll be at Turtle Mountain in Rio Rancho. I'll be hosting that show. My buddy Eddie Stevens is headlining that one. April 26, 27 at the Des Moines Funny Bone with Tim Gaither. July 27, Clarion, Iowa, hometown show. Be at Chappie's on Main. It's going to be a free show. Hope to see a lot of people there. And then October 21 through 26, Comedy Cave, Calgary, Alberta. And super excited for that. That one's not on sale yet. All right, let's go talk to Joe Quesada, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Joe Quesada, what's up, buddy?
Cool. What's up, man?
Good to see you, man.
Good to be seen.
I'm excited to have you on. I'm excited that you're back in the comedy scene.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I definitely took I took about a year off. I just wasn't.
Why did you take a year off?
I just wasn't feeling it, and I just felt kind of, I don't know, not shitty, but just not into it.
Yeah, I get that.
Until Quesada's, they had like a, I guess you can call it an audition for lack of a better word, and they had like this. They had a shit ton of local people, and then they also had, essentially, it was like their holiday party for their staff and a soft opening for the club.
Mm-hmm.
So once I got asked to do that, I started hitting open mics just to kind of stretch my legs and get them back under me, and then the show was so much fun. Like it was a full room, and that room is amazing. I was like, oh shit, I think I kind of like doing this again.
Yes. It's funny because I just performed there a few weeks ago, and a buddy of mine named Brian Jacobs just moved back to town like in June. And he's been doing stand-up since probably like 04, 05 or whatever. And so he came to one of my shows at Quesada's, and he's like, man, I really want to start doing comedy like more, like, because he does, he was living in Lubbock, Texas for a while, and he was doing a decent amount of shows there, but, just having like a comedy club like that, like he was all excited. He's like, yeah, I want to open here sometime.
Yeah, actually, I got to open for Ida Rodriguez this past weekend, which was
Tell me about the shows, man. How were they?
Oh, it was great. So I got thrown off the first show Friday night because room is packed, and then Stephen Michael Quesada comes up and he goes, "Hey, man," he's like, "I'm just gonna open the show, go out, say hi, do a couple minutes." I was like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, dude." And it turns out his entire family was in the front row, including his like 90-year-old mother.
Oh shit.
So he goes out, does this thing, and then I go out, and then I'm doing my thing, and then I have like, I'm not raunchy, but I'm a little dirty. So I felt like, well, because this woman looks like she could be my grandma. So I kept looking at her and apologizing to her, and I turned it, like I kept doing that, and then it's like I turned it into a bit, just apologizing to her for what I was about to say.
Mm-hmm.
But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And then the headliner was Ida Rodriguez out of LA, and she was fucking phenomenal. She rocked the house.
She's a crusher.
And then she brought this guy Antoine Young, whom I've never heard of, but she brought him, and he was so much fun. He was such a laid back guy.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a good time, and the rooms were sold out. Like the first show Friday, second show Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second show Friday was a little light, and then the second show on Saturday wasn't sold out, but it was filled.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. We had sold out, I think, both early shows. Friday was definitely over 100, and then Saturday late show was pretty packed, almost filled. And yeah, the crowds are amazing, man. Like I felt like a rock star all weekend, and just such a cool room. And the green room's awesome, the staff's awesome, the food's great. Like you just can't ask for a better spot for us comics to perform. So
yeah, I definitely felt spoiled for sure.
Yeah. And you're not related to Steven at all. Your names are a little different.
Not even a little. Oh, that was going into it. I was like, all right, I got my dumb opening joke. I was like, you can see his name is spelled with a Z, mine's with an S. He's known for Breaking Bad. I'm known for Breaking Wind. Yeah, dude. And I was like, that's what we're doing all night, guys. That's what we're doing all night. If you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. So, but it's so cool because between Quesada's and of course Dry Heat, which is fucking awesome. I love that club too.
Yeah.
And then Hyena's opening up too. Like there's just comedy is just opening up.
It's gonna be awesome, man. I mean, and those clubs are gonna be so far away from each other where
exactly
it's not like huge competition in my opinion. So, Quesada's gets a lot of people from Santa Fe. At least like when I worked there were a decent amount of people that came down from Santa Fe, and you'll pull people from Rio Rancho on the west side.
Yep.
So yeah, it's very cool. It's great having comedy on this side of town, especially being in Rio Rancho.
Yeah.
You're in Rio Rancho, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and that was nice too because it was like my parents came to the first show on Saturday. My parents, my sister, a couple of friends of mine.
That's cool. Yeah, my parents came on the Saturday first show too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a hell of an experience. Like I said, I felt very spoiled with how good the food was and how nice the green room was. They had a little fridge that had a bunch of like sodas and Red Bull.
Yeah. So. Yeah, everybody's super nice over there. The guy who runs the place, the manager, I guess, and then
Jake, right?
What's that?
Jake, John Anderson.
Sam, I think.
I don't know. Somebody.
I was calling him Sam. I've got his card somewhere.
Yeah.
And then I met the director of marketing as well, John. He was really cool.
Yeah, John was super cool.
Yeah. I was talking about it on my podcast with Jose, and on my solo podcast, but I had to stretch my time on Friday early show.
I actually
got there.
I listened to that good first half of the podcast when you were talking to him about that and how he showed up like 40 minutes late.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, so I had to do 40 minutes in a feature spot.
Well, we all know that this means stretch it, not not this.
Yeah. Yeah, I was so confused.
Who was your opener?
Chris Otero. I don't know if you remember him. He was he used to do stand up back in the day, and
white hair, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one of Steven's good buddies, and he was on the after party quite a bit. That was the last time I actually saw him, was one of the tapings for the after party. So I hadn't seen the dude in probably over a decade.
Holy shit.
So it was cool to see him again. Yeah, it was nice. He's a very funny guy. I know he used to come down to Laughs quite a bit, and then he's kind of disappeared from there. And then, so yeah, it was cool. It was a good show all around, man. Chris Otero. It was kind of funny because, like, so like when you hosted, like, how did they open the show?
So what they told me is like you got 10 minutes off the top, so 10 minutes immediately. So the way they break it down is I'm on there from 7 to 7:10. Features on there. But
did they bring you up though? Like, did they have like an okay?
Yeah, they had Chris
Otero mic. Chris Otero didn't do that. He just walked out. He just said, "I'll just start the show. I'll just walk out there and start the show." And I was like, "That would suck." But he's got like a good energy, and he's good at that. Not saying that you're not or anything, but I'm saying that I am not.
Yeah,
I would definitely love an introduction. and for a little bit of people, the show's about to start.
Yeah.
Put your phones away and shit like that.
I know you were talking to Joser about open mics and laughs. You were actually the first mic, the first mic I ever went to. I didn't participate, but the first one I saw was back in like 2008 at Laughs, because I was working at the Hyatt in Bernalillo, and this guy that was working there was like, "Hey, I'm going to do an open mic at Laughs. I need to bring people." So we all ended up going, and I remember you specifically because of your distinct look and take that for sure.
Oh yeah,
yeah, all of that. So it's very.
That's cool.
That was back in 8 or 9.
Must have been 2008 because Laughs closed. The last show we did there was December 31st, 2008.
Oh, then it was definitely 2008. Holy
Yeah.
shit, 2008.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
So, did your buddy that you worked with ever do stand up ever again after that?
He did it periodically, but he dropped out within that year. And then that's when I started. That's when I started doing it.
You're like, I'm better than that piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was it?
This guy, Jim Plummer.
I remember Jim. Yeah.
Yeah.
He did some shows after that. After Laughs, I think. I remember running into him a few times.
I think he's a lawyer now.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
I remember because I feel like he took a comedy class at Laughs with Tony Visick. Or maybe, I'm pretty sure it was Jim. I know who he is. But yeah, I think he might have taken a class or two at Laughs. But I definitely remember him. He had some funny stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in probably 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
Like it all just, how life just moves on.
For sure. But. So how did you get connected with AJ? How did you go to high school with AJ?
Yeah. Well, him and I played. We met in 8th grade playing gaffle. And then we were just friends ever since. And then I remember because the first open mic I did was at Retros, that up there on like, what was it? Wyoming Wyoming and I-40.
Yeah.
And I remember Mike Boyle hosted that open mic, and that's where we met Brett Hiker. But I went. He was the only person I told, so I went, and then 2 weeks later he did the same open mic because it was every 2 weeks. Yeah, so we're 2 weeks apart.
Oh, how cool!
Yeah,
I still haven't had AJ on the podcast. I need to get him on here. I'm actually he's opening for me on a couple gigs we're doing. In March.
In the Mountain Gods, right?
Yeah, into the Mountain Gods, and then they added on another casino, Sky City Casino. So
nice. It's
gonna be 2 nights in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's excited about that.
Yeah, it should be fun, man. Yeah, it's kind of funny because I don't know if I should talk about this, but the guy who booked those shows, he called me and he didn't like AJ's tape at all. And yeah, he's like, "You sure about this guy?" And I was like, "Yeah, well, I saw the guy you have featuring there tonight, and he's way better than him." So I almost said the dude's name on here, but so yeah, I was like, "No, trust me, AJ is funny, man. He kills. He does well everywhere I've gone with him. He's done well." So
yeah,
it's just it's so hard to make a good tape here. Especially before any of the comedy clubs were open, and I'm guessing AJ's was probably from like just some shitty gig here in town. So
yeah, more than likely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I know he was trying to record a set at Turtle Mountain, but it was a weird room that night. It was just a weird vibe in the room anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't the most conducive to recording a set.
Yeah. And that's another great thing about Quesada's club is, they have cameras there and they film your sets. And it's also a great place to get a video made, like if you have your own camera too. But, because a lot of clubs, they won't even look at your tape unless it's filmed at a legit comedy club.
Yeah.
So if you just send them a clip from Turtle Mountain, they're not usually going to watch it. They're like, "What the fuck is this?"
It's like sending a backyard wrestling tape. They're like,
yeah, right.
Have you
Yeah.
have you gone to any of the pro wrestling shows, the new ones at the El Rey Theater?
No, I haven't. I want to check those out.
Dude,
Um,
it's pretty cool. Like
is
Hobo
it
Hank is yeah, Hobo Hank is the king of Albuquerque wrestling.
really?
Yeah, he's fantastic.
So do you go to a lot of shows? Do you do any wrestling at all? You used to, right?
I used to. Yeah, I used to do it a
Yeah.
lot. But I kind of fell out of it, but I really want to get back into it. There's
You
actually a
should. You could be the
show.
third bushwhacker.
Yeah. Well, I could be the second because the other one's dead.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
There's actually a really cool show in Rio Rancho on
No
March
kidding.
1st. Yeah, it's called Phase 1 Pro Wrestling.
Oh man, I got a show in Santa Fe that night.
Oh shit. Yeah, dude. It's Saturday the 2nd.
Oh, the second.
At the
Oh,
Elks Lodge. Yeah, at the Elks Lodge in Rio Rancho off
Oh.
Barber Loop.
No shit. I
Dude,
just did a show there not too long ago. Yeah, dude, that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, because your nephew, you have nephews in town, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, that's the best thing. That's the best thing to take a little kid to.
Oh man,
Let them
yeah,
run,
that would be fun.
yell
Yeah.
obscenities. Yeah.
Ooh yeah. I can even tell them what to yell.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a really cool venture happening. So there's lots of comedy and lots of pro wrestling.
Oh, that's so cool, man. Yeah, it's so cool. Like, I travel around a lot and I see a lot of cool, a lot of comedians, not a lot of comedians, but, a handful of comedians here and there are connected with the local wrestling scene and whatever places I'm at. Like, McAllen, Texas has like a really cool, like independent wrestling scene. And, a lot of the local comics are involved in stuff like that. So, yeah, I think the two worlds combining is pretty cool,
Yeah. Well, they go hand in hand.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of comics growing up watched pro wrestling and stuff. So I know I
Well,
did.
it's because a lot of times when you'll hear interviews with wrestlers interviewing wrestlers interviewing comics and vice versa, and they always end up saying like, "I can never do what you do." It's always the sentiment between the two of them.
Yeah. I could never be a wrestler, but I could be like a Mean Gene Okerlund type of dude or something.
You'd be a fun backstage man.
Yeah, that'd be fun, man. I would love, or at least, or writing scripts for it or something would be cool,
Yeah. Dude,
I just watched.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was watching this documentary about Andre the Giant recently, and I was telling my cousin that I was like, out of all the shitty things that happened to me in my childhood, like my parents' divorce and stuff like that, the worst thing that ever happened to me was when Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan became enemies. And they were showing that clip, and I started like
when he rips
up. I was like,
when he rips the shirt and he like rips his cross.
Dude, I was like fucking heartbroken. I was like, no, what is going on here?
Take my parents, but leave Andre.
Yeah, because those are like my two heroes, man. It was like, I don't know. It was just weird after that. But knowing it was all scripted now, it's not as bad. But
predetermined.
Yeah, right.
What if I got really upset about that and hung up?
It's still heartbreaking, yeah. Did you see the Iron Claw movie?
No, I didn't. No, I never got around to it.
Oh man, I went here in Rio Rancho. Actually, I went on a Tuesday because it's cheaper. It's like $5. And I had the whole theater to myself. It was great.
You had your own Iron Claw.
So nobody saw me crying and stuff. So that was nice.
It was one of those movies that kind of came and went. It's like, oh, I need to go see that. Never got around to it. But I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Still might be playing. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't checked the schedule, but such a great movie. Because me and my brother loved watching the Von Erichs. My brother was a huge Kerry Von Erich fan. I was a huge Kevin Von Erich fan. And I didn't realize Kerry lost his foot.
Yeah.
I feel like I started watching a little bit after that happened, because I don't remember him beating Ric Flair or anything. But I do remember when he made the transition to like WWF. And
it's a Texas Tornado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because it seemed like after school they would always show the was it the WCW or something like that?
Yeah.
But yeah, Kevin Von Erich and Kerry Von Erich were always on there, and I remember watching their dad's final match. I think it was at Cowboys Stadium
No shit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember what year it was. It might have been like a replay of it or something, but I do remember watching the match, and I thought that was pretty cool.
The first pro wrestling memory I have is it had to be like WWF Superstars.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at my cousin's house, and I remember seeing the Mountie with his baton shocking some fucking worker.
Oh yeah,
That was the first memory I had, and then I don't know how, and then I ended up finding WWF like Raw after that, and then of course, like as soon as middle school hit, that's when the Monday Night Wars erupted, and that's when I watched it. Yeah.
How old were you when you first saw it?
I must have been like second grade.
Okay.
So like 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel I might have been younger. I think it was because every Saturday night they had WWF wrestling, like the main event. I think it was called or something like that. Yeah. And so I'm gonna look up real quick to see what year WrestleMania 3 was, because we had
I'm gonna say 88. No,
87.
87.
Yeah. So I was 7 when that happened. So that was the big Andre the Giant Hulk Hogan match.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was a fan before that for sure. And I do remember there was a wrestling event so I grew up in a town called Clarion, Iowa, and there was a wrestling event in Eagle Grove, which was like our rivals, which was like, 5 miles away. And they had a pro wrestling event. My brother got to go, and I didn't get to go. I was too young. And the only wrestling, there was like a tag team called the Mod Squad. And that's the only thing I remember about seeing like the picture of who was wrestling.
Yeah.
But when I was like 7 or 8 years old, we were in this other town. Like the big town was Fort Dodge near us. And that's like where most of my family's from. And we were going to the store one day, and I was probably 7, maybe 8 years old. And we're walking in through the parking lot to the store, and Jim the Anvil Neidhart walks by us. And me and my brother are like, no fucking way.
Well, in Iowa could be any big dude with a beard.
We're like just looking at him. We're like, are you him? And he's like, yeah. And we're like, fuck yeah. Like, what are you doing?
Did he have
here?
his big old beard and his sunglasses?
Oh yeah.
That
was awesome, dude. Yeah, so that was probably my first time ever seeing a celebrity.
Oh my god. You just reminded me of something. So this is like had to be Attitude Era. And at Cottonwood Mall, they advertised the New Age Outlaws. The New Age Outlaws were going to be here signing autographs.
Mm-hmm.
So I go there. I'm probably in middle school, and I'm waiting in line with everybody. And somebody comes out and goes, well, the New Age Outlaws can't make it, but here's the Honky Tonk Man. And you felt the air leave.
Oh, really?
You just air got sucked out. Everybody was so disappointed, and a bunch of people left, but people like stayed in line because it was supposed to be the
Honky Tonk Man was, dude. He was pretty popular when I was a kid.
Yeah,
and but he even does some stand up here and there.
I know, like him, Jake the Snake. Actually, I went and saw Mick Foley when he was at the Launchpad like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah. How was that?
Yeah, awesome. He's just up there telling stories. He's the nicest guy in the world. Yeah,
and he was on the high school wrestling team with Kevin James.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, how funny is that?
Yeah, that was an inside joke between some friends of mine. Well, sorry I ran out of hot dogs, but here's the Honky Tonk Man.
Fuck. I used to love the Honky Tonk Man. He was pretty famous in WWF for a while.
Oh
yeah. That's funny. I ran into just totally randomly at Cottonwood Mall. I ran into Terry Funk one time.
No shit.
He was at one of those nutrition places up like I forget what other stores are up there. It's just above like the record store.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like, I was just walking by, and then this big old fucking dude walks out, and I'm like, God damn, it looks like Terry Funk. And I was like, you Terry Funk? And he's like, yeah. I was like, fuck yeah.
Was he wearing a Terry Funk shirt? Because I feel like
no.
He was wearing a Terry Funk shirt.
No, he what was he? He had a wrestling shirt on though. I don't remember what it was. It was a white shirt, and I don't remember though. I was like, cool. And it was before cell phones and shit, so I didn't get to take a picture with him or anything like that. But
yeah,
I got to shoot the shit with him for a couple minutes.
back in 2016 at the Comic-Con, I got to host a panel with Ric Flair,
No shit.
which was really cool. Yeah, I mean,
Oh man.
he was so like, he was actually really chill. And once he got past the curtain, then he turned it on. And he
Oh
was,
yeah.
yeah. He was real. Like, my experience with him was like, I have nothing but good things to say about it because he was so much fun, and he had fun talking to the crowd, and he was talking shit. And yeah,
That's
but
so
yeah,
cool, dude.
yeah.
So yeah, I've got some funny Ric Flair stories actually. I've never
Jesus.
met him, but a comedian buddy of mine named Paul Hooper worked for him. Paul grew up in Charlotte, and I don't know what he did for him work wise. Like he would throw parties, and Paul would just kind of be there helping out and stuff like that. And he was telling me about this one party where he decided to like do some drinking on the side. You know, he's the 18-year-old fucking getting into shenanigans and stuff, and um, he was kind of like hanging out by himself, like in this little closet. And he's like doing shots or whatever, and
It's this hammer flare.
and he's he's kind of by himself in this. He comes out and he's like in this little hallway, and Ric Flair comes out there, and it's like just those two guys. And Rick's like, "What's up, man?" And he's like, "Oh, just drinking a little bit." So they had a couple shots together and stuff, and Rick was just kind of, you know, getting away from the party. It was getting kind of crazy, but yeah, he said Rick would get fucking just wasted and like toss people in his swimming pool and stuff.
Dude, you just reminded me of something too. So I wrestled in middle school, and we took a trip up to Tulsa for the Tulsa Nationals.
Oh yeah.
And I guess this is around the same time his kid was wrestling too. So I guess his kid was in the finals, and Flair was there too. So I vaguely remember seeing Ric Flair. Must have been like 97. And he was just there watching his son just wrestle, which was really fucking cool. Like,
yeah, he ended up wrestling at a pretty good high school, I think, like one of those big like private schools and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, was he like wooing at him when he was wrestling?
No, he was surprisingly calm. And I remember even some guy passed over like a little pad to write his name to get an autograph, and he was very like silent, like, no, that's not why I'm here.
Yeah. That's cool. Ariel Holmes, I don't know if you remember him. You probably do.
Oh yeah, with the best Paul Harvey joke in the world.
Oh god. The best. That's one of my top 5 favorite jokes of all time. I just talked to Ariel yesterday, but his dad grew up in Minneapolis, not too far from Ric Flair. Like Ariel's uncle used to play football with Ric Flair. And I guess he would just fucking annihilate people. Like,
oh, shit. Dude, if you see old pictures of Flair, he's gigantic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I watched a documentary about him, and yeah, he was huge. I can't imagine just playing like some backyard football with that dude.
See some silver-haired baboon knock you down.
Yeah, you come home, you're all bloodied up and bruised. Like, who did this to you? The Nature Boy. Wait, what?
Well, I see you're going to
Nature Boy.
I see you're going to Calgary, Alberta, Canada, which is the home of the Hart family.
Yeah,
that's
dude,
fucking cool.
That is cool. I've never been to Canada. I just got my passport the other day, so I'm pumped, man. I don't know if they have a museum for them or whatever, but I'm gonna email every single person last name Hart in Calgary and invite them to my show.
I know Bret Hart. He has a restaurant out there now, like a bar and grill in Calgary.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh man, I will have to check that out for sure.
Yeah.
I know Calgary is a big city, and I don't know exactly where I'm gonna be and what part of town, but yeah, I'm gonna look that up. I'm excited. I think there's some other famous wrestlers from there too.
Oh yeah, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. It's like yes,
yeah.
Let's move. Yeah.
What's that?
I said yes. Yes, they are. But yeah, definitely the Harts are the ones that jump to mind.
Yeah. Rowdy Piper is from Canada somewhere, I think.
Oh yeah,
originally
he's from, like Ontario, I think.
Okay. Man, he did some stand up too.
Yeah, dude, I saw him in Denver.
No shit. Oh, Comedy Works, right?
Yeah, and he was the nicest guy in the world. And do you remember James Morrow, right?
Oh yeah. Do
you remember his friend Vince?
Yep.
So we're sitting there because he's doing a little meet and greet after the show, and we're talking, and Vince asks him about his jacket, and then Piper gets excited. He takes off his jacket and he puts it on Vince just to try it on.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was just, I just remember like I was genuinely sad when he died because he was such a nice guy, and you could just feel it in his spirit, you know.
Yeah, I watched a documentary about him, and like it shows him with his family and stuff like that, and it's cool seeing that side of wrestlers and other entertainers that you don't get to see normally.
Yeah,
and definitely made me more sad that he was dead. But he was one of my favorites growing up too. He was just one of those dudes, just a likable dude,
Well, dude, I remember it was like those late nights you have as a kid when you're just going through channels on TV. So I must have come across TNT, and it was They Live.
Oh,
and it's that scene when he's it's the scene when he's in the grocery store, and he goes, "Look at you, like you're putting on perfume. That's like putting perfume on a pig." And he's insulting everybody in the convenience store.
Yeah,
and like that was before I knew who he was, and like I fell in love with immediately. And then I ended up watching wrestling and finding him.
Oh, how cool!
Yeah.
It was the opposite. I didn't see that movie for years. I didn't even know it was a thing until I think my brother had like a poster or something or a magnet of it, and I was like, "What is this?" And great movie. A lot of those wrestlers end up being like pretty decent actors. Some of them pretty shitty, but it was cool. So our movie theater that we had in the small town that I lived in, they used to also rent videos. So me and my brother almost every weekend would rent WrestleManias and just watch the shit out of them. So I think it was WrestleMania 3 was the one with Hogan and Andre the Giant.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was one that had a tournament one year. And then, they always had Royal Rumbles and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Royal Rumble's still the best event of the year.
Yeah. They just had one recently, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, it was last weekend.
Yeah. Do you still follow it or no?
On and off.
Yeah.
On and off. Actually, WrestleMania is building up to be pretty fucking cool this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, The Rock just came back and made a huge splash, and everybody's pissed because he's like they've been building up. Have you heard of Cody Rhodes?
Yeah.
So they've been building him up to be like he's like this amazing superstar. He's like the most popular. He's one of the most he's the most popular babyface in wrestling right now. And then so he's building up the story for him and Roman Reigns, and he's going to finish the story that he's going to win the title that his daddy never won. And they're building up this huge thing, and all of a sudden The Rock comes back in and he's like, "No, I'm going to do it. I'm in a main event. Sorry, man. Go sit down." So there's a lot of interesting things happening in wrestling right now.
That's so crazy, man. Like, watching the Iron Claw is really cool because you get to see the behind the scenes type of stuff that you normally wouldn't see too, like how important actually winning these titles are and stuff like that.
Well, especially back then.
Yeah, for sure. Like, because when Kerry beat Ric Flair, like that was huge. And like I said, I didn't see that match or anything, and like, but I remember watching Ric Flair numerous times, and my grandpa used to even get those wrestling magazines every month or every week or whatever. I think it was monthly, but those are always so cool because they had like cool pictures, and there was always a picture of Ric Flair just covered in blood. And
they always had like hair and it's drenched in red.
Oh yeah, so cool.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And they always had like the rankings, so you always knew who was like kind of, fighting for the title and stuff like that, And it had like it was like WWF plus all these other ones that some of the stuff that wasn't even on TV. So you're like, whoa, who's this guy?
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool reading about that.
I remember seeing one of those magazines and putting it together. I was like, holy shit! I feel like a detective. Mankind is Cactus Jack. Oh my god! And like I remember just like putting it together as a kid. I was like, "That's whoa!"
That was your Ace Ventura Finkel as Einhorn.
yeah. Except I didn't shower afterwards. Dude, did you have your world rocked when they premiered Secrets of Pro Wrestling on NBC?
I don't think I ever saw that.
Dude, it's just amazing. Well, did you ever see the like magician's secrets revealed?
Oh yeah,
very simple. So it's pretty much it was that, but with pro wrestling. So they had all these they had all these guys in like wrestling gimmicks and going over the trades of secrets of pro wrestlers.
Oh really?
So I remember friends.
What year did that come out?
I want to say it was like 97, 98. Because I remember my friends and I would do like backyard wrestling like you do when you're kids. And we would watch that on repeat to learn some of the secrets.
Oh, how funny.
And so we took all, like, they gave us all the secrets how not to hurt how to hurt each other less.
Yeah.
But we still did it. Like we were still fighting in a park, like in Rio Rancho.
That's
but just
hilarious.
like a tiny bit safer.
Yeah. I think I'd probably stopped watching by then. I think I kind of stopped when I was around 16. I moved here when I was like 17.
Ah.
And so I kind of stopped watching it like all the time. I feel like because Hulk Hogan was my hero, you know.
Same.
Once he went to the dark side, I was like, man, what the fuck, you know?
I don't believe in anything anymore.
Yeah, it was tough. It's tough to deal with. Like, why would they fuck with us like that?
Well, first him and Andre break up, and then he turns to the dark side.
Yeah, I mean, I should probably see a therapist about this. I didn't realize how much Hulk Hogan fucked with my life.
Yeah, well, maybe don't look past WCW.
Yeah.
Oh, you just reminded me of something else. So this is probably like 2009-ish. I went out to LA to visit a friend, and we went to a taping of Hulk Hogan Celebrity Championship Wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, it was so much fun. We were both drunk, just yelling shit. And then, do you know Brad Williams?
The comic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the warm-up guy, and I was yelling at when he was doing the warm-up with the crowd. I was yelling at him. He's like, he wanted to bring volunteers into the ring. I was like, I'll do a moonsault, half drunk. He's like, we're not going to do that. No. You stay sitting down. But it was so much fucking fun.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, Hulk Hogan actually had a cartoon when I was younger, when WWF was really, starting to get big. It was like Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's fucking great. It was so good. I still remember one of the jokes from one of the cartoons. They had the Iron Sheik and his buddy Nikolai Volkov, and they're washing a car or something like that. And Iron Sheik's like, "Use your head, dummy." So he starts washing the car with his head. It's like, God damn, that's clever writing.
Oh, take note. Fucking pro, dude, and even like pro wrestling in passing, like even because you're a former fan, watching the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, the two events that you should watch.
Yeah,
because I know WrestleMania is like in the beginning of April, and that's going to be a huge one. So even as a casual fan, it's the 40th anniversary. If you have an opportunity,
oh, how cool!
Yeah,
I might have to tune in, man. Even if it's ridiculous, it's I kind of want to go back and watch some of those old ones and see if I remember some of the matches.
Yeah,
because I watch a lot of documentaries. What's that?
It's all on Peacock too.
Oh, really? I have Peacock. I'll have to check it out tonight. I've been watching a lot of documentaries about wrestlers and stuff, and I just watched one about Macho Man, and it's kind of cool. He played baseball also, and so it's kind of cool because like my friend's dad played baseball, and he was in the same organization as Macho Man. They were both with the Reds, and he just missed playing with him by like a year. Like they were on the same team. You have
all these people that are running peripheral to like pro wrestling legends.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's really cool.
He was like a year. If he was like a year younger or older, I don't remember. He would have been on the same team as the Macho Man.
That's so fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know who Dan Soder is, comedian?
Oh, I love Dan Soder. His Macho Man impressions. Phenomenal.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. So goddamn funny.
And he's funny.
Yeah, Dan's the best, man. He used to come to Laughs. He came to Laughs, I think, in 2007 when he was first starting out.
Oh, no way.
And you could just tell, I was like, oh, this guy's fucking got it. And he's funny. Yeah. Has a great voice and everything. Super cool guy too. So it's cool, like watching him succeed. I haven't seen him since then, probably 2007, 2008 or whatever.
Yeah.
But I remember hearing his name pop up on I think he was on Opie and Anthony one time or something. I was like, I wonder if that's the same Dan Soder who used to come to Laughs. And I
Yeah.
popped it on. You hear the voice, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's him.
That's and you hear the impression.
Yeah. So that's cool seeing him do well out there. Seems like he's really kicking ass and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Who are some of your favorite comics, Joe? Do you watch a lot of comedy now, or no?
Honestly, I follow more podcasts than I do comedy, which is
Okay.
weird. Like I don't watch a lot of stand up. But I mean, I love Dan Soder. My favorite podcast right now, other than this one, is Are You Garbage? It's this guy,
Okay.
H. Foley and Kevin Ryan.
Yeah, Chad Daniels is just on there. I need to check that one out.
It is so good, and those guys are so fucking funny. They're so fast.
Yeah.
Their producer will chime in, and he's funny too. Like he knows his bounds. Like he knows when to chime in and when to back off.
Cool.
Like that, and then All Fantasy Everything with Ian Carmel, David Bory, and Sean Jordan is probably my second favorite.
Okay. I know David Bory.
Oh yeah, well because he's a Colorado guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he grew up with Sam Tallent. They went to high school together.
Yeah. So yeah, and then speaking of Sam Tallent, it's cool to see him popping up. He's been popping up on everything lately.
Yeah, dude, he's all over.
God damn,
dude. When his book came out, I got so many messages because my name's in it.
Oh no shit!
One of the characters is named Curt Fletcher. Yeah.
No.
I don't know how many messages I got from that. Everyone's like, "Hey, have you seen this?" It's like, "Yeah."
Lots of messages, no bookings.
Yep. But no, it is cool seeing Sam blow up like that. He deserves it. He was kind of like an open micer when I first moved to Denver in 2009. So it's cool to see, because that was years ago, man. He was one of those guys you could tell too, like this guy's he's got something, Yeah. And I was actually at the show one time. My old roommate Jake Sharon was headlining the show at this little burrito restaurant down near Denver University or University of Denver or whatever. It was a terrible setup for a comedy show. Nobody's sitting there watching. There's just a bunch of people coming in to get burritos, so they're standing in line, and that's where the line, like where they're performing, that's where the line's at, right in front of you. Oh. And so Sam just did improv the entire time. He didn't do any jokes, improvised his entire set, and just fucking annihilated, dude. And I had never seen anything like that. Like, it was one of the best. Well, I had seen other comics do awesome sets like that, like Scotty Goff improvising, but I'd never seen Sam do that. And it was like definitely one of the top 10 sets I've ever seen in my life, probably. Yeah. Like, he just did so well. And just after that, that was kind of his style, Did you ever perform? Do you remember Genevieve Mueller? Uh-huh. Yeah.
Did you ever perform at her house?
Oh yeah.
So one of my favorite things that I've ever seen is it was like a comedian's power hour, and Sam was there. And have you heard his Widow's Peak joke?
Oh yeah.
The way he told it, because there's a partition between the kitchen and the living room, so he was able to. The way he put his hands on the side, and you see his fingers, and he would pop out. It's one of my favorite things I've ever seen, and I think about that on a regular basis. And then
he did that at a show at what's it called? The place with the no roof. What did it used to be called?
Oh, Inside Out?
It's Inside Out. It was a stereo bar is what it was called at the time.
Oh, okay.
He did the same thing because there's a door off to the side, and he went over there. It was so funny, dude.
Oh, that still makes. I think about that, and it just gives me so much joy.
Yeah, the look on his face is great.
My husband died. Probably my second favorite memory. Do you remember Nate Lund or?
Oh yeah,
Nathan Lund.
Yeah.
So we were doing. I think it was Comedians Power Hour, and everybody was fucking drunk, and him and I were like two drunken sailors singing wrestling theme songs back and forth. Oh, it was so much fun.
Lund looks like he could be a wrestler.
Oh yeah. Well, because Nick Gossard is still running his Lucha Libre and Laughs. There was one show where him and Sam actually got in the ring and fought each other. It was horrible. Like they were gassed
yeah?
within 2 minutes, and like Sam's belly's hanging out, and Nate Lund has got his shirt off, and he's laying down, and they can't run the ropes for shit. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I guess I forgot about the athletic aspect of it, but looks-wise,
So
Nathan Lund would be a great wrestler. Yeah, Sam has a good look for a wrestler too.
Oh, yeah.
Or like a wrestler's manager or something.
He would be an incredible manager.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I would pay to see that. I'd definitely pay to see that.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing. That's cool that you watch a lot of podcasts. I've been watching a lot more too. I've actually been watching. Howie Mandel has a podcast with his daughter.
Yeah,
that one's kind of cool. They did a live one today that I was watching, then I passed out, so I had to get up early today. So I took a little nap. What are some other ones I like? Chad Daniels has started one with his girlfriend. That one's pretty fun.
I just listened to their first 2 episodes. Yeah, dude. And their chemistry. Well, of course, because they're together.
Yeah,
but their comedic chemistry is fantastic, and
it's awesome.
He's so fucking funny,
dude. He's my favorite comic right now.
Sure.
So, did you watch his YouTube special?
No, I know
in December.
No, but I've heard it's great.
This fucking asshole records 2 specials in the same night.
Yeah,
2 totally different specials. One of them's on YouTube.
I've heard
one
people say that.
One of them's going to be on Netflix. And he recorded it. This was December of 2022. He recorded this. He's recording another special March 2nd of this year.
Good God.
I was like, dude, they're making all of us look lazy as shit.
Well, he did. Well, because he filmed both specials in one night, 2 separate shows, 1 shot.
Yeah.
So it's all just in there. That's fucking crazy.
It's amazing. Actually, talked to him. I talked to him a little bit today, actually. Yeah, I still keep in touch with him because I don't know. I had such a good time working with him, but it was like 15 years ago. I haven't seen him in 15 years, but he used to come to Laughs, and so we hung out at Laughs, and then I got to work with him 2 weeks in a row in Oklahoma City and Wichita, and like it was like 2 of the funnest weeks I've ever had in my life. Like we had such a good time, like just fucking around at the condo and stuff, and it was so funny because one night we were at the condo and I was eating a Baconator, and he goes, "What are you eating?" I was like, "Oh, it's a Baconator." And he goes, "Can I try it?" I was like, "Sure." So I hand him the burger, and he just eats the entire thing. And he's like, "Man, that was fucking good." I was sitting there like
so mad, but so
yeah, that's how it was. It's like I can't really be pissed because that's pretty goddamn funny.
Well, I'd be annoyed, more than anything. Like, God.
But no, he goes, he's like, "Where'd you get that from?" I was like, "Wendy's." He's like, "All right, let's go." So he drove me back. He drove me down to Wendy's and bought me another one, and bought himself one.
Oh man, dude, I miss. Do you remember? Do you ever do that show in like Winslow? Was it Winslow, Arizona?
Pine Top.
There's one that I fucking missed
the casino.
Place. Yeah, I remember Scotty Goff used to run that.
And
that show, I had so much fun there just because there was one night it was like me, John Cuellar, Drew Wayne, and I think one other person. We all just and James Morrow. We all ended up going out there because I think 1 or 2 of us was booked, and then I guess the headliner canceled. So and just to be this 4-person show between all of us.
Oh, hell yeah.
So much fucking fun. And then there was one night where I was there working with Chris Shaw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like the one thing I know about Chris is that he'll look at you and be like, "I'll race you down there," and he starts running down the hallway, and then you try to catch him. He sprints out of nowhere, and it makes you want to run too, which is a terrible idea when you look like me. But
yeah. Yeah, I met Chris back in 2002. I've known him forever.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I like that room. I haven't been there in a couple years, but it's so funny because like I always struggled when I featured there, but I did really well when I headlined.
Oh, okay.
And so the first time I ever headlined there, I didn't know I was headlining. So I was doing Laughs in Tucson when Scotty booked it, and or no. Scotty might have sold it at that time. Either way, I was with Ariel. Ariel was hosting that week, and I was featuring. And So I was supposed to be featuring the casino, and I told Ariel he can go with me and just crash in my room or whatever, and I'll try and get him a guest spot. And so I called Scotty on the way up there. I was like, "Hey man, just letting you know we're on our way to the casino, and I'll be there whatever time." And then I go, I was like, "Hey, who's headlining tonight?" And he goes, "You are." And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Who's featuring?" He goes, "Who do you have with you?" And I was like, "Ariel." He's like, "Ariel's featuring." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then so I got off the phone with him and I was like, "Ariel, how much time do you have?" And he's like, "Why?" I was like, "You're featuring tonight." He's like, "Oh, 15, barely." And I was like, "Okay." And it's a little bit of a shorter show because it's a casino, so I kind of forgot about that when I started freaking out a little bit at first because I'm like, fuck, if he only does 15, I got to pull an hour and a half or an hour and 15. So we're kind of freaking out about it a little bit, and then we're getting close to the town and stuff, and I was like, you know what, dude, just go up and have fun, fill as much time as you can. Whatever you don't fill, I'll do. I'll do some crowd work if I have to, and then I, when we get down there and talk to the guy, BJ, he's still there running the room. It's awesome. He's been there so long. But yeah, he's like, yeah, it's just a 75-minute show. So I was like, oh, I could do that. That's no problem. So Ariel ended up doing, I think, 27 minutes, and I did like 55. So ended up being like a really good show. Ariel had a lot of fun doing it, and the Paul Harvey joke killed with that crowd. So
I love. Yeah.
I paid him one time. He was performing at Inn of the Mountain Gods, and it's funny. So in the hotel room they have robes, and I told him, I was like, "I'll give you $20 if you perform in the robe, and you gotta prove it," because I wasn't with him. He was like featuring for somebody. So he calls me that night. He's like, "I did it, dude." And I was like, "Did you film it?" He's like, "Yep." So I was like, "All right." So he comes by my house the next day, and he's got the recording, but he did the entire set in the robe.
How is Ariel doing?
He's doing good, man. He wants to start doing some comedy again, but he's got like a little kid now. She's fucking cool.
No shit.
Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, she looks just like him too, man. It's funny. And,
you look at him, you're like, "Oh, that is your child, sir."
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't gotten to meet her yet, but I'll be up in Santa Fe in a couple of weeks, so hopefully I'll get to. But yeah, he seems like he's doing good. Pretty happy for him.
Good for him.
He's got a cool family. I like his dad and his mom a lot. They're both really cool people, and they've always been really cool. They come to a lot of comedy shows and stuff. Like his dad comes to a lot of my comedy shows. Even if Ariel's not on the show, I've always thought that was cool.
Nice.
Yeah, not bad. When's your next show, buddy?
I'm doing Turtle on the 17th, I think.
Oh, nice.
17th and 24th, I can't remember. 24th, because it's the third Saturday of the month.
Okay.
Yeah, and then also,
sweet, dude.
Then I'm doing Brew Lab in March.
March 7th?
Yes.
Yes, I'm on that show, dude.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully I won't eat shit, but we'll see.
Oh man, I just realized I spelled Rio Rancho wrong. Look at that. Rio Ranco. See that? March 7th, Rio Ranco.
I don't want to say
what
anything.
An idiot.
God.
But that's the show we're on in Rio Ranco, apparently.
Oh, cool.
At the Rue Lab. Man, that's cool. Yeah, I'm excited that you're back in the scene, dude. I'm excited to see you again. We've had a lot of cool times on the road. I was thinking about we did Loonies in Colorado Springs together.
I fucking
with
Sean
Kent.
Yeah. I remember we were having lunch and he was just trashing on wrestling the whole time, and then we're just sitting there like, and then you were like, "Yeah, he does wrestling too." He goes, "You didn't know? I didn't know that. Why didn't you say anything?"
He still has one of my favorite lines I've ever seen too. He was performing at Laughs. I'm sure I've told you this a million times, but so he goes up. It's Wednesday night. He's headlining. The opener is Gibran from El Paso, the magician, and the feature act is Danny Keaton. And the first thing he says when he goes up there, he goes, he's like, "Oh, great! They got me working with a magician and a Mexican. My shit's gonna disappear all week."
That's fucking great.
Oh, that's so funny.
Dude, I still think about that line that Scotty Goff told some guy. Nice speech.
Maurice. Maurice lives here in Albuquerque now. He's a comic. I don't know if he does much comedy anymore, but yeah, he lives here in town. Oh, it's so fun. Nice speech.
I think about that periodically. Yeah, they're just random things that'll pop in my head.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Scotty's got some of the best improvised lines I've ever seen too. I always tell people about when he was doing some crowd work with these two guys in the front row, and they both had the same first name, and they both had similar jobs, and one of them was like in his 40s and one was in his 20s. And he goes, "Oh my God, this is you from the future. He's here to give you the sports almanac."
Does he still perform? Isn't he doing cruises now?
He does a lot of cruise ships, yeah.
Oh, that's fucking. Oh, he's perfect for cruises.
Oh, I know, yeah, and he loves it, man.
So does Sean too. He does a bunch of cruises too.
Yeah, I ran into Scotty's wife Joy at the airport not too long ago, and she was like, I think I was going to Tucson maybe. But yeah, she said that he's loving it, and she gets to go with him sometimes and stuff. So it's awesome. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Scotty's awesome. I miss seeing him around. He's like one of those dudes. Like, he was always one of those guys where, like, if you're struggling with a joke, like, it's funny, but you just can't get the wording right, you could just take it to Scotty, and he would like figure it out like in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, so I had a buddy of mine that was working Laughs in Tucson with me years ago, and he was kind of struggling with a joke, and I was like, talk to Scotty about it. I bet he'd help you. And sure enough, like, he went and told him the premise and the idea of it, and then we went and sat back in the green room area, and Scotty comes back there and he's got it all figured out. And he's like, "Oh, you gotta do it like this," and he tells him how to do it, and it's perfect. I was like, man, that's awesome. But one of my worst shows I ever had was with Scotty, and it was at the casino, Pine Top Casino. And, dude, it was rough. Like, the crowd was laughing at nothing for me. And this is like the first time Scotty had ever seen me feature. And because he had bumped me up to feature at Laughs, and I still hadn't done that date yet. So, like, the whole time I'm bombing, I'm thinking, like, man, Scotty's watching me right now. There's no fucking way he's going to have me feature at Laughs after this bullshit, And then he goes up and he's struggling. They're not laughing at anything, like any of his material. Then he starts doing some crowd work, and that gets some laughs. Then he goes back in the material, nothing. Crowd work gets laughs. And he improvised. I don't know if you remember his joke about like masturbating, like comparing it like when you're older as opposed to when you're younger.
No.
But he's like, when you're younger, you fucking just jerk off wherever you're at, and blamp. He's like, it's a little different when you get older. You gotta like finesse it a little bit, and he starts singing American Pie. So he starts jerking off. He's like, a long, long time ago. And he sings the entire verse. He sings the entire first verse, and then he's like switching hands and stuff, and like doing this and this, and then he gets to the part where he's like, and something touched me deep inside, and he's like, oh, oh, it's so funny. And then, like, he did it, like, he improvised it like how he has it in his act now. It was like word for word. It's so funny.
Oh.
But then he did buck me to feature at Laughs again, or after that. So I was pretty happy about that. But his improvisation, you know what I mean.
Yeah. I was about to try to say it, and I could feel myself stumbling over it, too.
Improvisational skills.
There it is.
I once saw him do an entire 45-minute set about Ron Bell.
Oh my
Because
god.
he was at Laughs, and he was hammered. And I
Isn't he a
pointed him out to. What's that?
Wasn't he allegedly a cokehead too?
Oh, I'm sure he was. He used to ask the strippers to pee on him at Chapter 2. Yeah.
Oh my god, where was Chapter 2 was? It was near Billiard Palace, wasn't it?
Chapter 2 was like on Wyoming and Montgomery area.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so.
I went there one time after a Super Bowl, and there's only like 8 people there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, the A team wasn't there that night.
Yeah. The second string.
Or maybe it was. I've never been to Chapter 2. They brought in some ringers. Oh, it was brutal. Anyway, thanks for doing the show, man. We're almost at an hour. Always fun chatting with you. We need to hang out sometime, man. We're both in Rio Rancho. Maybe we can do some writing together or something. And
that'd be cool.
I'm gone for most of February. I get back on like the 26th or something, but maybe we can, do something before that Brew Lab show.
Yeah, that'd be very cool. I'll hit you up.
Yeah. All right, sounds good, man. Follow Joe Quesada on Instagram, everybody. It's scrolling down there. Joe Quesada, which I love.
Oh, speaking
of such a.
I remember when I got that.
I think I do too.
It was up in Taos. And I remember Caitlin just looked and she goes, "You know what your name should be? Joe Quesada, like carne asada." I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Hell yeah, man. Well, cool. Yeah, I appreciate you doing this. Follow Joe, everybody. Come see us at the Brew Lab, March 7th in Rio Rancho.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care, buddy.
Later.
Bye. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. A lot of fun talking to Joe. I've already mentioned everything I need to mention. So thanks to Jarrett Reddick for intro music, Bowling for Soup. Check him out on tour. Got a bunch of cool tour dates going on. He's also got a country album out. He's also doing some tours under Jarrett Ray Reddick. So check that out. If he's in your town, go see him. Outro music, John Singleton from Anesthesia. Thank you as always. Anesthesia playing at the Launchpad March 9th. Definitely try to make that show. Hope to see you there. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next week.